Hello there, ladies and gentlemen of the gaming community. Soren Nighthawk here with another Friday Night Magic Draft review. Kind of giving you a breakdown of how my night went. Wasn't so great. We did have a lot of people. We had 3 pods. Not sure exactly how many people, but 3 pods worth. So I think it was 8, 8, and 6 with the drafting pods. So that was a good turnout. I was happy to see that. However, 5 rounds, which sometimes can be a little bit of a pain on a Friday night. But okay, so here's my deck, and I'm going to kind of walk you through the picks. Pack 1, pick 1, I got the Undead Alchemist, and I've always said that if you get this guy first pick, he's a good card to build around. However, I never quite got what I was looking for. If you play with this guy, I feel that you're often going to be black-blue, and that you need to get zombies. More so the probably evasion zombies, which I also didn't get. So I think what happened was I had 2 people to my left, 2 consecutive people to my left that were black-blue, one of them being zombies. So that was unfortunate, and along with that, this Undead Alchemist had a Moan of the Howl, I think it's called, where you get 2/2 zombies and you can flash it back. And so that kind of sent a signal, which I did not want to send. And then I think the other guy actually opened an Undead Alchemist as well. And we all kind of figured out halfway draft, but at that point, I was already somewhat committed, so I was trying to put something together. So then my Pack 1, Pick 2 was one of the, I'd say, top 10 limited cards, maybe even top 5 limited cards, the Charmbreaker Devils. It's an amazing card. As long as basically you're going to be returning, at the beginning of your upkeep, you're going to be returning a instant or sorcery to your hand, and then whenever you play one, it gets +4/+0. So, I mean, if you're, doing a, let's say, Tribute to Hunger, which I have 2 of, a Brimstone Valley, which I have 2 of. Corpse one's not quite as much because you have to exile a creature and deals damage equal to their toughness. I'm sorry, power. But it's still, still a good card. Harvest Pyre, Double Silent Departure, the Chant, Forbidden Alchemy. All good cards. All cards I'd love to play over and over every single turn. So the awkwardness was I got this, and then I got this, and so I wanted to do a little bit of both. Now, my plan was when I got this and this, was that I was going to see which route was going to be better. And I feel like I just kind of danced along that line the whole draft. Not really sure. I think some of these were my next few picks, because there's some of my better cards. Creatures is where I really was lackluster for me. I only ended up getting a total of 5 zombies, which is really not good for the Undead Alchemist. However, one of them being the Ghoul Raiser and also having a chant where I could return 2 zombies, that helped a little bit. But then other than that, I got a strong, the Civilized Scholar, which is a great card. Actually I find that he can win the aggro beatdown game, as long as you got, so that's another thing too, these Rotting Fen Snakes. I had enough removal, I had 7 removal and 2 bounce, that I was able to basically just keep the board clean and then come through with this 5/1 or this 5/1 once he's flipped. So that was, where I was going with all this. It wasn't really what I was looking for. I ended up having to run these guys, which, they're not horrible, but, I would rather be some zombies or something. The Walking Corpse, just the 2 casting cost, 2/2. But, it did work out a little decent because I knew that, I had a kind of a bad early game. Because, these Fen Snakes aren't going to defend much, they're going to easily die. So I need these guys to have regenerate, and then I also got the rats, which have the death touch, so that kind of also is an early game defensive card. Then, you get the scab, which is good. So many times I've actually, when I have to mill myself, I milled some of my best cards. Like I remember I did Charm Breaker, I milled once, I milled like, you know, Brimstone Volleys and just all kinds of good stuff. But, you know, it also kind of works because then it's in the grave for the Charm Breaker, or, you know, you have, you know, maybe a Fen Snake that you can Corpse Lunge. Well, that was one thing, I think I pointed this out before, but Corpse Lunge and Fen Snake's a really good combo because first off, you don't really mind zombies going to the grave that much because you have the Champ and the Ghoul Raiser, but then also with the Corpse Lunge, it's going to deal 5 damage, which is pretty strong. Pitchfork Devil's awesome card. I mean, it doesn't fit the flavor of this deck tremendously. It's not like I got like a sack of creature type deck, but it fits great because it's also another kind of defensive card where I can play it, put it down, and it's going to lock the board up, and then allow me to get to my bombs and get there that way. Rage Store, I think it won me 1 game. It's another great card. It's a 4/2, so you know, it also kind of works with Corpse Lunge. Get that out there late game, and they're just like, it puts them in a really tough spot because they can't block, but they can't do anything because they can't let creatures die, but they can't get hit by creatures. Silent Departure, awesome. Did great with it. Harvest Pyre worked out pretty decent. You know, I did again the split that I don't really like. It was basically like a heavy black build with a fairly even blue and red splash. So it's kind of like 1 main color, 2 splash. Because you can see, like, all my main cards are going to be the black cards. And then the red and the blue, I can kind of get them, I can get those late. Because like I said, I have these guys early game to kind of hold things down, and then you know, then eventually get my bombs and get there. Kind of give you a rundown of what I got in my sideboard here. Really some tough decisions, and I think this sideboard's really an indication of how I was flirting with this like black-red build or this black-blue build, and I just wasn't sure which direction I was going to go. First off, I flirted with the idea of going to this Burning Vengeance deck. I've heard people talk about it. The idea of it seems pretty good. I mean, if you can do 2 damage, it says whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, Burning Vengeance deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So what's great about it is you don't have to pay for it. You know, I think there's that card in the last block that you had to pay to do something similar like that. This one you don't have to pay, so you just get it out there, and then if you're flashing back stuff, it's great value. And it's creature or player, which is also good. So the idea that I was kind of flirting with was, you know, I got Bump in the Night, so I can flash that back. I got Think Twice, I can flash back that. I got Geist Flame, I can flash back that. Over here I had Forbidden Alchemy, and then double Silent Departure. So I had some decent, you know, possibilities with it, but it just wasn't enough. It just seemed too cute and too much variance to go that route, so I did not. These guys I absolutely love, but they didn't fit the flavor of my deck, and the double casting cost on the red was discouraging. Maybe I should have played them, I don't know. Maybe leave your thoughts, comments down below. I know they're great. I've been a huge fan of this guy. He's often like a 5/5 or bigger, and just a really good card, but I couldn't play it, I didn't think, based on my current build. If I was going to go more of a mill route, the the Blade, Mills cards, it's really good. I mean, if I had this on the zombie or something, or a zombie, whatever, with the Undead Alchemist out, it would be just game over. Maybe a win more though condition, and also my deck wasn't straight up mill, so just didn't think, you know, it was a little slow, you know, 3 get out, 2 to equip. I just felt that like my deck couldn't be messing around with that when I didn't even have evasion. That was a big thing actually. If I would have had some of the flying zombies, I probably would have used it because it could have actually got through there. And then some other good cards that I did not get to play, Altar's Reap, which is a great card. You can always sit back on it and they go to kill your creature or whatever, then you can sacrifice your guy. You know, would have worked great with Pitchfork Devils. Also, the cute idea of Treacherous Blood, steal their dude, sacrifice their dude, draw 2 cards. It seemed like a good combo, but just didn't fit the build. Didn't need a second chant. Scarecrow, good sideboard card, but didn't necessarily need that in this deck. Possibility, but just didn't think I needed that. And then all these other weaker cards, Hysterical Blindness, Sharpened Pitchfork, Cellar Door, Memory's Journey, Curse, Oblivion, and Vampiric Fury. So, you know, all in all, it was a decent deck. I ended up going, it was 5 rounds, I ended up going 3-1-1. But you could say that I went 2-2-1 because what happened was I pretty much lost the last round, but instead of losing at the very end, my opponent said, "Hey, I'll concede to you." He had me clearly beat. He had the win, but he said, "I'll concede to you," because he knew that I would win packs and that he couldn't. He had a lesser record. So that was very, very awesome of him. You know, I think things like that are, you know, things that need to happen in Magic. You know, Magic players need to, you know, build camaraderie with each other. They need to support each other. You know, be good to each other. Because it seems like there's so many people out there that they're just mean, and you know, it's like them against the world, and just, you know, there's no reason for it. I think that, you know, people just need to chill out a little bit and be nice, and you know, this is a game to have fun and make friends and, you know, whatever. So that was really encouraging. It was great of him to do that, and you know, so then since he did that, I wanted to be a nice guy in return, and the one pack that I won, I gave to him. You know, I figured he gave me the 3 Planeswalker points. I only won 1 pack, so hey, you can have the pack. You know, so it's you know, one good deed you know, turns to another. Paying it forward, they might say, paying it forward. Let's see, any other thoughts on this? It was fun, you know, it was a cute deck. It had some really powerful things, but it had a lot of awkwardness to it. The removal was fun, just to have so much removal. Love Forbidden Alchemy that, you know, makes your deck take some of the variance out of it and takes some of the awkwardness out of this deck. But all in all, it wasn't a very good deck. I'd maybe rated let's say a 6 out of 10, and you know, but hey, it won me 1 pack. It won me 3 games. I will say that my one loss was really close. I had Charmbreaker Devils with the Tribute Hunger on the line, but they had the Silent Departure and Lethal on board, so that ended up being the game. In one of the games I got man screwed, but hey, you can't say that because it happens to everyone. And then also my 1 draw, I could have won that, but you know, sometimes you just play against slower players, and you know, I don't give them a hard time because you know, I was slower at one time. People actually even joke that I'm slow. I'm not really slow. Maybe sometimes I have intentional pauses and whatnot to, you know, kind of let my opponent think that I'm thinking certain things. But all in all, I can pretty quickly see what I need to do and move forward with it. But sometimes you get an opponent that just, you know, every decision they're sitting there, you know, taking a minute or 2 to make that decision. And I'm not the guy that's going to be like, hey, you need to hurry up and make a decision. You know, in a big tournament, you could call a judge over and say, you know, my opponent's taking too long, and then basically probably what's going to happen is that judge is going to sit down or stand right next to you and kind of watch the pace of the game throughout. And you know, sometimes that's necessary if you're in a big tournament, because you know, it's not fair to you. But you know, so it was Friday Magic. It was fun. I got some Planeswalker points, not that they really matter, and you know, won a pack that I was able to give to someone that did me a nice thing, and it was a good time. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you've sat through this much of it, you must have liked it. So please like it down in the left hand corner. Like this video. Favorite it. That really helps out a lot to kind of let me know that I'm doing good stuff. Comment below on, you know, your thoughts on the deck and maybe things you would have done differently, or you know, or just want to show support, or you know, whatever. I appreciate all that. And you know, please subscribe to me so that way you don't miss any videos. It'll pop up whenever you log in, and you won't miss a beat. And I appreciate all your support. And signing off, Soaring Nighthawk.